Welcome to the studio for Find Your Flow, listener. I have with me here today a poet and an author, and I can't wait for you to meet her. I can't wait to get to know her, to hear her story. I have a feeling she has a lot to share and a lot that we can learn from. Marta Knobloch, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be with you.
Well, Marta, as you know, this show is all about flow, helping people normalize this concept of doing your life the way that is right for you so that you can live your best life and step into the spotlight of your own life. Tell me, what does flow mean to you?
I think flow means to me being here now. Ram Dass used those words as one of the titles of his books. And I think being in the flow is truly living completely in the present moment.
Is that hard? Is that hard for you to do?
Because I think so much of our time we tend to dwell in the past, or we are concerned about what is going to happen in the future, which may never happen, of course.
Right.
And the only time we are truly, truly alive is this very minute. So I think being here now is when you are truly in the flow.
Oh, I love that. It's something that I'm acutely aware of. I was rudely introduced to it.
Oh,
Yes, rudely introduced to it. I was a mother of younger kids, middle school and elementary school, when I had a physical injury that really knocked me, right out for a good 9-month period. And I was very forced to be present.
yes, I understand. I understand. I think it is those moments where we are most challenged that we perhaps come to realize how important it is to live in the present moment.
Amen to that. Can you share with us a time where you struggled with being present and finding your flow?
Yes, I think the moment that was the most challenging in my whole life was when my husband died. We had been married for 41 years. I had known him from the age of 18, and he had been the center of my life for 41 years. And it was a great shock. And I felt totally out of flow. I just did not know what to do. I just felt stunned and did not, I can't even express to you how deep my sorrow was and how deep my confusion was as to what to do next. And so I just struggled with that for a while. And then as I was changing homes and attempting to get used to living without my husband, I decided to take a trip west as a diversion, truly, because I decided I would research my family history. And in coming west, I discovered the Southwest and the desert. And I think the desert was the most amazing, healing place for me. There was something about the solitude. There was something about its enormity and the infinite sky and the silence that helped me find a place to deal with my sorrow and to find a way back to the present moment and experiencing it.
That is amazing to me that in your attempt to run away,
Yes.
you found the space to be able to really face your grief head
To
on.
face my grief, exactly, and to learn to live with it. I don't think it's ever completely over. I miss my husband today, but I have an amazing life. And had I not gone to the desert, I would never, never have experienced this. And so I am so grateful. As you know, I think you know, I still live in the Southwest.
Yes.
Have for, 26 years now, except for a time during COVID when my children were very concerned and wanted me to be closer to them on the East Coast.
Wow. I'm here on the East Coast. So is that where you had moved? You moved from the East Coast out to the Southwest?
I moved from Baltimore, Maryland to the Southwest, and I first moved to the Chihuahua Desert, which is in the Big Bend of Texas. It's not the great valley that loops down with the
Mhm.
Rio Grande. It's the smaller loop of the Rio Grande just before you hit New Mexico. And that's called the Big Bend. And it's quite isolated. And I lived there in several of the small towns there for almost a decade.
Right there with your kids, like, whoa.
What they said, Lisa, and more.
My mother's just over a bridge in the next state. She's about an hour away from me.
How
And I'm
wonderful.
still like, okay.
They still are too, but they, at this point, are after 26 years, they're very used to my independence. I think they're concerned that I'm getting very, very old. I'm 86, and they keep a close eye on me. It's wonderful to
Sure.
have, we can Zoom now and
Yes.
keep in very close touch. And I am in very close touch with my granddaughters too.
Well, that's so wonderful. 86 and living this independent, explorative life. I mean, I just had a conversation with a beautiful woman yesterday who studies longevity. She's actually in Texas. And at a health clinic in Texas, and she studies longevity. She studies the health of longevity. So she did a study and wrote a book about a population of people over the age of 100. And what did it take to get there, and how were they living their life? And she said she was very prepared for having to categorize candidates for the book, saying, well, if they're basically incommunicative and unable to have a conversation, I can't be interviewing them. And she said, much to her surprise, the large majority of individuals who get to live a very long life are very active, very healthy, and are constantly challenging themselves with new.
Well, I think that's very, very important. If you don't use your body, it stops working. If you don't use your mind, it stops working. And most importantly, if you don't use your heart, you don't live a very happy life.
The wisdom. The wisdom. For, I guess it was 2 years ago, I was living in DC, actually. I went to college in DC, so I
where did you
know
go to
Baltimore.
college?
Yep, I
Where
know
did
that area.
Where did you go to college?
I went to the Catholic University of America.
Well, I to what was called the College of Notre Dame in Baltimore, Maryland,
Yes.
which is now Notre Dame of Maryland University. It's gotten bigger.
And the University of Maryland has this beautiful campus, listener.
Yeah.
If you're curious and you want to go see something. They also have a great pool. I was a swimmer, so I got to race in that pool and got to go watch a lot of races in that pool, and I loved it. But while I was there, we were in an apartment, a one-story apartment. And I mean, luckily we were up on the 7th floor. And because the challenge was no stairs. And I said to my husband, when you stop taking stairs, you stop taking stairs. So we have to find a way to continuously use those muscles to keep moving.
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, I'm very fortunate. It works in a number of ways. I take an exercise class twice a week with a wonderful group of women that have become great friends. It's taught by Bonnie Golden here in Taos, and it's called Age Up Well. And it's a combination, it's actually a chair class, but it's a combination of yoga and Pilates and weights, and those who can stand do, which I do. And I do that twice a week, and then I take a yoga lesson privately once a week with a very wonderful yoga teacher called Lisa Sharp here in Taos. And the days that I don't exercise in that way, I walk every day. It's a wonderful place to walk. You're under that brilliant blue sky most of the time, though not today. We're having very bad weather out this way.
Are you part of those storms that are hitting the West Coast?
And if I disappear suddenly, it will be because the electricity has gone off. I'm just crossing my fingers.
Okay.
Because it went off several times yesterday, and it's the winds that are doing it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a very high danger of fire as well. It's been so dry. We need moisture very, very much. But anyway, I got off the subject, and so that's what I do for exercise. but you have to exercise your brain as well, you know.
Yes.
So I think being so fortunate and continuing to write, and it's been a very exciting process for me, this latest book, because it put me in touch with fascinating new people. Brooke, as you know, who's so marvelous, and then also Janice Short, who is the publisher of um, Holistic Best Holistic Life, and she has a small publishing company as well. And I was so delighted that she was willing to take my book.
How did you come to writing poetry, and then can you tell us about your new book?
Yes, well, I've written poetry since I was 5 years old. I'm one of these incredibly fortunate people who knew from the moment I could read and write that I wanted to be a writer. And it is great good fortune. So many people really don't know what they want to do in life. But
Yes.
this was just always there. And about the age of 5.5, I wrote my first poem about butterflies and butterflies being the flowers of the sky.
And yes, they are.
And so I've written ever since. And I have been particularly, this is a book of haiku, which, as you know, is an ancient Japanese art poem, form of poetry. It's 3 lines of 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. No, excuse me, 5 words, 7 words, 5 words. And no, it's syllables. Good heavens. I think it's syllables. I don't go into the technical things very often. I do count my words and lines. But anyway, and the desert seemed such a perfect landscape to try to express the beauty of it and the importance of it to me through haiku, because haiku is the poetry form of being here now. It's taking a single moment and trying to express how you feel about it and then convey it to others. And so it's a book of haiku about the American Southwest and my journey here.
I would very much like to read that.
I hope.
I'm Japanese and Irish, so I would very much like to. Yes.
I'm telling you about haiku, and you probably know 10 times about it with my
I am not a writer. Well, I love to write. I shouldn't say that. I do. I love to write. And in fact, I channel meditations, which are very poetic. And
Yes.
yes, so I've got thousands of those.
I meditate every day. But how do you channel meditation?
Well, I sit in a meditative state. And I clear my mind, I clear my body. Everything goes very, very still, very, very quiet. And I ask, what does humanity need right now? What would humanity benefit most from in this now moment? What's our lesson? And then the words just
Flow.
flow. Yes, I close my eyes. I type, 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 type. And when the words stop flowing, I say thank you. I open my eyes. I read what's written. I bawl my eyes out because
Have you ever
it
published it?
I have not. No, I just started, which is interesting. I just started a Substack, which I had never even heard of Substack. I didn't know what it was or understand it.
Tell me what it is.
It's this, gosh, it's, you know what it's like? It's like Facebook for writers. And what gets shared is the written word.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Can I subscribe to that? May I subscribe?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about Substack is it's all sorts of different writers. I mean, it could be anyone writing like a news article to poetry to musings. I even I host this podcast over there. So a lot of things get shared.
Wonderful.
And because it's under the context of expression, there's very little judgment and censoring that goes on. So you can experience a whole lot. I follow a musician who just talks about what inspires his music or what music he enjoys to listen to. And
So
then I
you
follow poets.
You can follow different people.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Substack.
Fascinating.
We'll
Well,
have to ask Brooke to help you with that one.
yes, I think I can.
She
I
might be more wise than me.
Oh, I doubt that, but I think that she will be very helpful and I would love to do it. It sounds like I love the idea of Facebook for writers.
Yeah. Yes.
Book is some good things and some bad things, I think,
Exactly.
and can be used, well, like anything, can be used for good or ill.
Yes.
And I just think the idea of course, I love the written word, so I think this is a
Yes.
lovely idea.
I'm a bit obsessed with money right now. And if you're anything like me, you are too, whether it's making more or holding on to it. But here's the thing, the problem isn't the money, and it's not a sense of self worth either. I'm sure that you know you're worth a shit ton more than you're bringing in right now. The problem is with your nervous system. The bottom line is that you're really, really good at staying alive. It's what we're designed to do as humans, survive. We're literally hardwired for it. Now, so what does that have to do with money? Money flows. It's that simple. Money's an energy and it flows. If our nervous systems aren't calm, then money can't flow. If you're used to working hard, hustling, money can't flow without immense effort. If you can't hold on to money, it's not because of a lack of work, it's from a lack of capacity. So this is my obsession. Healing the nervous system to allow money to stay and flow with ease. Literally build the capacity to hold more. Establish the ease to allow money to flow with ease. And that's what the held container is all about. So if you feel like you brace for life, wait for the other shoe to drop, hang on until the next payday, or panic and avoid money altogether, this program is for you. It's so simple and so impactful. And if you just felt like I threw you a lifeline, lifted you out of a sense of drowning, then this is for you. Go to nagarelife.com to apply. The program is only open to 6 people, and applications are open now. I was literally in meditation back in January. So just a couple of weeks ago, I was in meditation, and because I start my day off in meditation every day, and I said, what am I guided to do today? What am I guided not to do? What am I guided to do? And I just kept hearing Substack, Substack, Substack. So I was like, I don't know what that is. So I Googled it, Substack. And sure enough, it's this website dedicated to publishing people's written word. And I went, okay, what am I doing on Substack? And it was all of your meditations, bring them over to Substack. And I was like, okay, I can do that.
You were very much
Yeah.
guided, I believe.
Very much guided. Yes. In my life, I am very much guided, which it sounds like so are you, and you follow.
Well, that's the secret, learning to follow, because sometimes it has been so surprising to me that I have hesitated. And I think those were the times that I regret, when I hesitated and just wasn't sure of doing something. But the universe has a wonderful way of bringing opportunity back to you, I think.
Yes.
And if you miss it one time, you find it later. And so I feel calmer about it now than I did in the past, when I felt that I had opportunities that I didn't take because perhaps I wasn't courageous enough.
What was one of those opportunities?
Well, I actually took it, but I can tell you the story. It was very hard
Please.
for me to take it. I had been invited to Italy with friends who were publishers there and in the writing world. And there was a magazine called Leggere Donna, which means, as you know, read woman. And so I went to Europe with my husband because I knew that I was going to be gone for a while. And we had a very lovely trip together. And then I was sitting in the airport in Paris, and his plane arrived before mine, and he got up and kissed me and left. And I was terrified. I had never done anything like that on my own before. I convinced myself that I was going to fail, and I really couldn't do this. And so I sat there and I cried for about 10 minutes, and then I got up and I took the plane and I went to Italy. And it was wonderful. I fell in love with Italy. I found myself living there on and off, it was the saving grace for me after my husband died to have worked there and to be there for long periods of time. And that is one of the times where I almost missed an opportunity that is very vivid
What
in
a
my brain.
what a wonderful gift that you had the stability of your marriage. You said the stability of your husband, the support of your husband to go and take this little adventure that introduces something that will come back to you later in life to help you heal.
That is exactly right. But that's the way the universe works, don't you?
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
just a preview of what would become my saving grace years later.
Holy cow. Italy is on my bucket list.
Well, you've not been?
I have not, no, which is interesting because we are right now in the process of selling our home. It's on the market. We're waiting for a buyer because we'll be moving to Ireland.
I love Ireland. One of my very favorite places that I've ever been. I think it's incredibly beautiful.
Hmm.
I think the literature of Ireland is absolutely astonishing. I think that you can walk into any pub in Ireland and have the most delightful conversation, really
It's
deep
true. It's
conversation.
true.
And I just enjoy the Irish. I'm part Irish also. I just have enjoyed every time I've been there, the incredible beauty, the tragic history, which I think gives the Irish people the heart that they have.
Agreed. Yeah, there's this depth to who they are as people. Their souls are so deep and yet raw, but still so kind and loving.
Yes. And so welcoming. So very,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so you're going to have a wonderful time. Where are you going?
So we plan on moving to Dublin.
Dublin is a marvelous city.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a beautiful city. It reminds me very much of Boston. And we lived in Boston for
I only visited in Boston.
yeah, we lived there for nearly 8 years.
Why did you decide to do this? You sound like me.
So, very much so. That's why I was looking forward to this conversation. Our children are older. Our daughter, she'll be 26 next month. Our son is 22. He is in his last semester of college. Our daughter is living her life. And my husband and I find ourselves in this new phase of empty nest. And we went, okay, what do we want to do? We've dedicated the last 26 years to parenting.
Yes.
And so every decision was for our children. How does this benefit our children? How can we set our lives up for our children? We moved from Massachusetts to New Jersey for the sake of our daughter, to know her family and have close relations with her grandparents. And then when cousins were born, how to navigate all of that. And now we find that our life can be defined by who we are right here, right now,
Right here, right now.
which is a challenge
Yes, it is.
because the last time we were ever truly on our own, we were in our 20s, and we are so not in our 20s anymore.
What about me, for heaven's sake?
So what does that look like in our 50s? Trying to,
Well, to begin with, you would never, ever dream that you are 50 in your 50s.
oh, thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
so exciting. And I think you have wonderful adventures ahead of you
Yes.
that are just, can't even imagine how delightful it's going to be.
We had a little taste. We went to Ireland, gosh, probably about a year and a half ago now. We took our son to Ireland, then we went to
You know Ireland already. Here I am
I
telling you about it.
do. And then we took him to Zurich and we dropped him off in Zurich. And there was my husband is a dual citizen between Ireland and the US.
Wonderful.
And I'll tell you, even just coming in for the landing, I looked out the window and I cried because I had never seen that shade of green before. I mean, they talk about it. You can't imagine. It's magical.
It is. Well, it is. It has a wonderful, wonderful mythology, as you know.
Yeah.
Have you studied the mythology?
Oh, we have just started
Mm-hmm.
learning all of that, and which I find it to be fascinating. My mother-in-law had always called my husband the Prince of the Leprechauns from when he was very, very little. the Prince of the Leprechauns. And we never quite understood it except to assume that that meant he was a troublemaker, which he kind of is. So we got a little bit of an introduction. But when I was there, it was interesting because the way that people speak, it is poetic. The way they phrase things
Yes.
is poetic. And I joke because we were in a coastal town. Where were we? Donegal. We were in Donegal, and I saw a life preserver. And on it, it said, to steal a life vest is to steal a life, right?
That's Irish English, and it's the most beautiful English on earth, truly. Yes.
I was flabbergasted by that. And I said, there's just so much that's shared.
Yeah.
So much.
Well, you have to go. Do you like Yeats, the Irish poet?
Yes.
Well, have you been to Torre Ballet where he lived in the old medieval tower? That was one of the high points of many of my trips over there to go there. I went to the autograph tree. I'm sure you went to Lady Gregory's estate as well. They were all active in the literary movement and in the Abbey Theater at the time of the uprising, the Troubles. And so it was sort of a literary pilgrimage for me, too, because he's always been one of my very favorite poets. And
same with my husband. My husband was an English major, and he's the same way. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, where are you? Do you know where you're going to buy? Are you just looking? Or
well, we figure we're going to be a little bit of a vagabond and get to Dublin, get our feet on the land, and figure out what suits us best. And then we'll take it from there. I mean, this is literally, I'm sure you're the same way, where you just sort of landed somewhere and you were like, how about I get to know this place and figure out who I am in this place?
Exactly.
And then the home just sort of chooses you.
It will appear. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I've lived in 17 different places in the last 26 years, all over the Southwest. And my children they're small areas and some of them are repeats. But I always just love finding a new community, learning about it, becoming a part of it. And I've made the most incredible friends that I still have. The Big Bend was an exceptional experience for me, but I've also lived south of Tucson in Arizona, near to the old Presidio, the Spanish Presidio of a place called Green Valley. And that was a very fascinating area, too. In Arizona, it's the Sonora Desert. And that's the desert that has the big 3-armed cactus that we see in all the countries.
Yes, yes.
And then I have lived in New Mexico. It's just been a kind of a pilgrimage around the Southwest, and each state is a little different. I love living in Taos, which is my latest place to live. And I've actually lived here 2 years before I bought a condo. And I was very surprised that I wasn't ready to move on, that I really wanted to stay. So it was a very big step.
Yeah, that's basically what we're expecting, to really get to know who we are and then figure out where to root.
And who you are now.
Yeah, it's so unwritten, which is such a beautiful space. It's scary for sure.
It is.
But to be unwritten is opportunity and hope and joy.
Indeed it is. I think it's rather fun to live in a way that's a little bit scary, don't you?
I mean, yeah.
I really, on my birthday, I try to do something new each year. And not always scary things, sometimes very silly things. I took a tango lesson one year.
Nice. But listen, that can be scary. Who knows?
I never took another, but and the young man who was very, very nice, who was my instructor, so wanted to sell me an enormous series of lessons.
For sure.
You know? And I kept saying, this is one time. And it was just great fun. I was terrible at it, but I really enjoyed it. And I've done things like indoor skydiving, which absolutely terrified me. You're in a big wind tunnel.
Yeah, yeah.
You're very safe, but it's just, there's something about having no place to put your feet or your hands, or you're in air, you're floating in air.
Yeah.
which my children probably think I have both feet in midair most of the time. But it was fun, and wonderful friend and I went indoor rock climbing.
Mhm.
There again, it was scary, but it was fun. And sometimes just as simple as walking a path that you've never walked before. But I do think that's an awfully good way to begin your year, to just do something you have never, ever done before.
It's such great advice for anybody at any point in their lives to
Yeah.
do something outside the comfort zone. It doesn't have to be crazy.
No,
Even rock climbing, you're harnessed,
you are.
you're safe, but something that shakes it up a little bit because that really gets those creative juices flowing,
Yes, it does.
really starts opening up your eyes, new perspective, new opportunities. That changes everything.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Going horseback riding. Which
Mhm.
years and years ago, which I had not done for many, many years. I just had forgotten what it was like, and I really
Yeah.
that wasn't a brand new thing. That was something I returned to. I had planned last year to go ziplining, but I tore the meniscus and
Mm.
completely through in my left leg, and so that had to be postponed, so I may do that for this year instead.
What fun.
Have you done it?
I have not done zip lining, no.
Well, my granddaughters have done it, and my one son has done it, and they love it. And I thought,
Yeah, it looks like so much fun.
and this is a beautiful area in which to do it because we're right in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, so there are lots of high places from which you can zip line. I would like to
Amazing.
find one where I can sit down. You know, you sort of are hanging from this harness, and so I'm sort of searching that still. I'll let you know when I find.
I would love that. My girlfriend, she did zip lining where she was hanging, prone. And she did that in Costa Rica. She said that was amazing.
Yes, I have a friend who did that in her mid-70s in Costa Rica. She is no longer with me here. She's elsewhere now.
She ziplined. She ziplined right over onto the other side.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. She was that kind of person. And we were talking about aging, finding friends who are
Mm,
adventurous and really enjoy doing something a little strange or just something different is really fun too. I've often done these things with friends who sort of have the same kind of fun in things like this that I do, kind of excitement. And I think it's very important that we be aware of who we have around us
100%.
because there who I'm very fond of, but I don't see a great deal of them because they are making their lives so much smaller. They really do believe that age is a barrier to so much. And I've
Yeah.
been so fortunate in not finding it to be. Surely you have limitations you don't have before, but
Yes.
the limitations can lead you toward doing things in a different way or or finding a new sort of situation, for example, the chair yoga, because
Mhm.
many people truly must stay in the chair. And they are amazing, that class. Some of them are in their 90s. People come with oxygen. They are
Mhm.
just so alive. And I just admire them so much. That's so splendid to me.
I used to own a studio. I used to own and run a studio. It was a gyrotonic studio. And gyrotonic is a movement method that is ideally meant to align your spine.
Hmm.
And then that invites movement into the body so that you have greater articulation and flexibility. It strengthens your bones and your muscles in a different way. It offers playful movement to the human body, especially as we age, to remind it that it can find balance again, that you can walk. And a lot of my clients were older. A lot of my clients were older, and they would oftentimes find me and come to me with canes and walkers and
Yes.
fears of all kinds.
Hmm.
Lisa, I can't take the stairs anymore. I fall getting out of my car. I can't take a curb. All of these different things. And we would get them to a new place of confidence
That's
that
so important.
suddenly opened up a whole new life. I'm thinking one client in particular, she came to me. I had to help her up the stairs the very first visit, and she walked with a cane. And after about a month or two, she said, "Lisa, I have to stop coming." And I said, "I'm really sad that you're going to stop coming, but may I ask why?" And she said, "I'm moving to California to be with my daughter. I never would have been able to do this had it not been for this,
Isn't that,
trying something new, learning how to move differently, and really coming out of my comfort zone."
is it movement standing in place or is it walking?
So that's just it. Yes, 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 and yes.
Because
It can be infinitely modified. And I mean, just enthralled by the chances that people were taking. And I'm talking, I worked with anyone from a 10-year-old, she was 9 years old, from a 9-year-old to a 90-year-old. It was just everybody, every age group, every level of ability. And it was such a blessing to be able to see and contrast all of these different types of people and bodies and the
yes.
courage. Oh my God, the courage.
Did you come to this after you had had your accident?
So here's what's interesting. I found gyrotonic before I had my accident. What was that?
How do you spell that? G-Y?
Gyrotonic,
I'm going to look it
gyrotonic.
up.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm happy to send information about it. I can't say enough about it. I had found gyrotonic because our son had gone off to school full time. He was first year kindergarten going to school full time. And I said to my husband, "Wow, I could go back to work now. I can actually have a life." And he said, "Yes, you could. Or you have 5 hours in a day where you could do something, and something you've always wanted to do and have never had the time to do it." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't even know what I would do." And he said, "Just think about what is something you've always wanted to do and didn't have the time because you were giving 100% to the kids, and just go give yourself 100." I did something scary. I took an adult ballet class.
I took ballet through my 40s. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes,
I bet you love
I I loved it.
Bravo.
I absolutely love, and let me tell you something. I was in there and I was right around 40.
Mhm.
I was in there with women who were in their 70s.
Yes, you can take the same class that the prima ballerinas take your whole life if you want to.
Yes, and they were so beautiful and so welcoming, and when I said, I can't go left," they just laughed and said, "Neither can we." But from that dance class, the teacher introduced me to the gyrotonic method, and I wound up using that just for my own well-being. It's extremely meditative. Each movement is very circular, so it becomes a moving
Oh, it's
meditation.
circular.
Yeah. And then I wound up getting certified to teach it. And then I had my accident, and then after that injury, I used the gyrotonic method to heal.
And then you taught it.
And then I taught it.
And
Yes.
so the accident took you to a place that you
It
really
really did.
wanted to be, yes. And that was of great help to others.
Yes, yes. So these
Wonderful.
lowest points, what we think will break us,
Yes,
can redefine us
that's so true.
and offer opportunity.
Yes. Well, when I was living in Hawaii, I grew up in the military, and this sounds like the perils of Pauline. I fell off. I was in Waimea Park,
Mhm.
group outing from the school, chaperoned, and there was a waterfall, and my classmates had all lived there all their lives, and they were wonderful swimmers and divers. And so I decided to try to go up and dive off, and I started up the side of the falls, slipped off the very slippery path, and fell 30 feet and landed on my head and this side between a tree and a rock. And they fortunately were able, it was very, very rustic in those days. Now I think it's quite a big international park,
Mhm.
talking a long time ago. Hawaii was still a territory at that point in my teens. So the group put their jackets and sweaters together and got me out to the point where we could find a phone because, of course, no cell phones or anything.
Right.
I was unconscious at that point. But I was pretty badly broken up, and I spent the next 6 weeks in traction in Tripler Army Hospital, and then the next 4 months in a body cast because this just looked like a jigsaw puzzle. And I really, I had a concussion. But what happened was so interesting because I was, of course, as a teenager, very bored lying there. And I tried to keep up my schoolwork, and I had been left-handed. Well, I am now right-handed. That was the new skill that I learned during that episode. And so actually it's made me a little ambidextrous. I do things with both hands now. And I guess that was the good that came out of it. But that was a rather shocking moment in my life. And I was very, very determined to keep the schoolwork up. I didn't want to repeat the year. And so out of that came a new skill and probably something very good to have my brain.
I was just thinking that, yeah. Strengthen both sides of your brain. Wow. You are fascinating.
You are. I think I'm just enjoying this conversation so much. My goodness.
It's just so incredible. So now you have this new book. What is your new book called?
It's called Absorb This Silence. And
Oh,
the silence of, I will send you a copy as soon as I can, I promise
oh
you.
my gosh. That just sounds like butterscotch. I don't know. I can't explain it, like this warm, gooey butterscotch pudding. That's like what it sounded like to me. So yummy.
The silence is what is so,
Mm.
it's overwhelming at first in the desert. But it's a living, vibrant kind of silence. And once you can find a way to bring it into your heart and into your meditations, and it's just amazing, the silence. And so that's a line that I chose from one of the haiku is truly what the book was all about. And I hope that other people who have had much more difficult journeys than I have ever had will take this journey with me to see how I was so fortunate in finding a way out of my grief and sorrow to a place of peace and a place of great contentment, truly. But not so contented, I'm not going to try something else very soon.
Never boring. Absolutely love that.
Well, how could
Marta,
I be bored? This incredible world, my goodness.
there's so much. I think that when people are at those pivot points in their lives and are forced into silence, that surrender into silence,
It is a surrender. You have to learn how to surrender. Absolutely.
that
And you
it's
must
so scary.
from your accident too. You have to
Yeah,
surrender.
it is. I think it's such a large hurdle, such a grand challenge that people often just freeze and go, I'm good where I am right now. I mean, listen, I was almost there. You sat in an airport and went, I don't know if I can get on this flight.
No, I mean, I was literally thinking, I'm going to go follow him back to the United States. Surely I can find a flight.
And I can absolutely pull pull out those moments in my own life where I almost didn't go to New York for that training to become a gyrotonic
There you
instructor.
go.
That was a defining moment. I almost didn't go to the specialist who wound up helping me heal my spinal injury
Oh, it was a
because I was like,
injury.
maybe, 70% is good enough. But and I'm constantly saying it here on the podcast, it takes 10 seconds of courage.
Yes.
10 seconds. Take a
Well,
big, deep breath
yes.
and move forward into what you think is a challenge.
Acknowledge, I think, this is how I believe, what I believe. I think you acknowledge that you were very frightened and then you go ahead. And that's what courage is to me.
Agreed. That is such a beautiful place to end this conversation. Marta, I have enjoyed every single second of this.
As have I.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, your wisdom.
Well, thank
Where
you for sharing your story and wisdom with me.
It's an honor. It's an absolute honor.
For me too.
Where can listeners find your book?
Well, it is on Amazon. I know that the paperback version is out now. The hardback is not quite out yet.
Okay.
Decided on a mid-February publication date. So they can find it on Amazon if they wish to have it. And it is Absorb This Silence.
Absorb this silence.
I am so glad that we didn't have to absorb a minute of silence. I could talk to you forever.
Forever. My gosh, Brooke did not oversell you, not even a little bit. You are an absolute pleasure.
As are you. And I
Thank
wish
you
that you
so
must let
much.
me know what happens in Ireland.
Well, I absolutely will. My plan is once we get there to do like little series here on the podcast to just
Wonderful.
share my experiences and share this new great adventure.
Absolutely. Well, I just voyage, how exciting. And thank
Thank
you
you.
so very much for having me on the podcast.
Honor. Listeners, scroll on down. I will have a link to Marta's book, Absorb the Silence. Don't fear it. Don't fear it.
You're here.
I know firsthand it can be overwhelming. I know that you can feel lost. I know that you can feel scared. 10 seconds of courage. Acknowledge your fear,
Yes.
honor it,
Yes.
and move forward anyway.
Absolutely. Yes.
Marta, thank you for your time. Listeners, thank you for listening.
Thank
We
you.
will see you next time.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's it, listener. Before you go, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and set your notifications to never miss an episode. If you'd like even more with me, come on over to nagarelife.com. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, go on and share it. Share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it as well. All right, I'll see you next time.